Welcome, Erik, to Metaladium website. It's a great pleasure to talk with you again, because we spoke 2 years ago about the last album. Now I spoke with you for this new album, Megalomanium, and other things, obviously, and other things regarding to the rock and metal scene. First of all, how have you been during this last year? How is the band been during the last years?
Well, it's been fantastic. We've been playing more live than we've ever done before. It's been last year was great, and this year is going to be even better. So we are touring the hell out of ourselves and promote the previous record and promote the new singles and the new album. Of course, we start a new tour in like more or less just Germany, but we're going to start September 1st on the release day. We're going to start almost a 3-week tour in Europe. So it's going to be great.
Nice to hear. Well, yes, I saw a lot of gigs with Eclipse. So when did you begin to work on Megalomanium? Which was the first and last song you composed for this album? And also, which was the song you enjoyed most working on its composition and the most difficult song to finish?
Well, the first song we wrote for the record was probably Children of the Night. That's the first one that was like completed. Before there was some ideas lying around from earlier. There's a song called Anthem that we actually wrote for the previous record, Wired, that we just couldn't we loved the song, but we couldn't get the production right, so we skipped the song and moved along. And this time we picked it up again. So probably that was probably the toughest song to complete, because I heard it in my head in such a way that it sounds now. That is what I heard in my head, but we couldn't make it right the first time we tried it. So second time we got it right for this record. So Anthem is probably the song that we worked hardest on, I guess.
Okay. So why did you choose Megalomanium as the name for the album? And something curious is that after the name of Bleed and Scream, or your album's names were not exactly a song from the album. Is there any particular reason for this?
Well, I like to keep it. I always like to keep songwriting and everything simple as possible. So when you name a record, if you can summarize this record with one word, I think that's the best possible way. And I think we had a megalomania. We after all these gigs, we were kind of feeling like we have the balls to do make changes to our sound and do it in a different way, and we don't really care. We just go ahead and do it. And I think that kind of that ballsy, like grandeur way of looking at things summarized well with Megalomanium.
Okay. So when you released Wire in 2021, we were still dealing with the pandemic, and now that you are releasing Megalomanium, the situation is far better in that sense. So how are you feeling about this new album compared with the previous one? Also, the pandemic forced musicians to work remotely in a different way. So for this new album, did you something change in the way you compose and record the album?
Not really. We in Sweden, we were never really locked. There was like no lockdowns for real. So when we did Wired, we wrote it and worked on it together. A big difference though is we had no gigs, so we had a lot of time to record and work on the album on Wired. We didn't have that much time on this one, but we started writing songs quite early after Wired. We started almost like a couple of months after Wired was completed. We started working on new material again, so we had a lot to choose between when we started working on this record. But we wrote it together. Some songs I wrote by myself, some songs we wrote together as a whole band. And the recording sessions were kind of the same as we always do. We are together in the studio and work together.
Okay. Every time that I find out that Eclipse album is coming, I know what you expect. And again, I'm not disappointed about this new one. So I guess it may be the same for your fans. But in your own words, what can you tell to your fans about your sound in this new album?
I think we tried to do a lot of new stuff. It's got to sound like Eclipse, but we added a lot of influences. I've been listening to a lot of I used to do it back when I was younger as well, like emo rock and skate punk and all that stuff. So I think I kind of somewhat went back to what I listened to as a kid as well, and added a lot of that, emo rock and skate punk, and also we tried different stuff that we have never tried before, because there's no worse genre than hard rock to incorporate new stuff. Every time there are so many rules in hard rock of what you can do and what you can't do. Like everyone knows, they're doing that, you can't do that, or it's just, even if you add a sound or a synth sound, it's like everyone like go nuts, like you can't do that. But this time we are like, fuck it, let's do this and see what happens. Try to give the fans something to be irritated about. I guess.
Well, yeah. One of my favorite songs from Megalomanium arrives with Little Children of the Night. It sounds quite heavy and dark, but still memory in its chorus. So what can you tell about this song and its composition process?
Yeah, it's the first, as I said, it's the first song kind of we wrote for the whole record, and it's got that Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath with Dio kind of vibe, the whole thing. I think I said it before. It's like Black Sabbath combined with the ABBA.
Oh, okay.
It's got that catchy chorus, but still heavy, and it's dark but still uplifting. I don't know.
Okay, nice, great. Well, I know that you are being busy with other bands and projects too, like Nordic Union, Wet, and even a collaboration with Therion, for example. And I'm just curious if there's a song that you couldn't use, for example, with Wet or Nordic Union, and you rescued for those ideas for Megalomanium.
I don't think there is anything from Wet or Nordic Union on this record, to be honest. It has happened before that when I write something, there's a song called The Downfall of Eden from the album Monumentum. It's one of my favorite Eclipse songs, but we wrote it. It was intended. I wrote the song when I was trying to write for Nordic Union, but it's like, this sounds like Eclipse. It sounds very fresh Eclipse. So we just put it aside and kept it to ourselves. But it also happened that tried to write Eclipse songs, and it's like, it doesn't sound like Eclipse. It sounds like Nordic Union, or it sounds like Wet. So of course if I write something that fits another project better, I will give it to that project. But usually I just when I write Eclipse, it's Eclipse songs that are coming, and when I write for Nordic Union, it's Nordic Union songs that pops into my head.
Okay, nice to hear. So what are your plans after releasing Megalomanium? What are you planning, a tour through Europe, or why not America, or perhaps Latin America? Who knows? How is the situation to touring after the pandemic from your perspective? Because I have seen many musicians complaining about how touring was become more expensive after the pandemic.
Yeah, touring has become way more expensive. Tour buses has probably gone up 130% in price, which they were really expensive before, and now it's just ridiculous. It's so much money for the tour buses now, which makes it really hard to get the economy right for, if you're Green Day or U2, it doesn't matter, because it's so little money for the buses, but still it's for bands like us and a lot of bands, it really makes a big difference. But having said that, we are going on a tour, as I said. We start 1st of September. We're gonna go a European tour together with our friends in a Swedish rock band called Heat. We're gonna go together on a double headline tour. It's gonna be super fun. First time ever. People has been asking about that for a long time, so we're gonna do it. But we're also going. We're gonna do a Scandinavian tour. We're gonna do Japan again, and we are, for the first time ever, coming to South America. We are confirmed so far is Summer Breeze in Brazil.
Next year. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nice one. Summer Breeze. Yes. Nice to hear.
And there are going to be some more dates as well added.
Great.
Yeah, more dates are added. I think it's already 2 more added. I can't really remember where and when, but it's at the same time.
Perhaps as usual. Perhaps as usually, or Mexico, Argentina, or Chile, perhaps. Is the usually countries that all ones place here is normally about this.
Yeah, sure. We'll try to make it. It's the first time ever, and everyone's telling you got to go to South America play. And we've had since day one. We have a lot of South American fans writing us. So we never go there, but now it's actually happening. We always wanted to go there and play, but now it's actually happening, which is it's super exciting.
Great to know. Great news. Great, thanks for the for information. So, talking about other aspects of the music, of your music especially, your sound allows you to reach a wide audience. I mean, I know people that are big fans of rock and they love you, and other are more extreme metal fans, but they also like bands like Eclipse. It's normally. So, how do you feel about this aspect? Do you notice this when you go on a tour and meet your different fans?
Yeah, it is pretty fun. Our audience is usually at bands, the audience is very like, as I said in hard rock, like if you like this, you don't like that. It's just very divided into different genres. Like if you like thrash metal or death metal, you don't like melodic rock. But it's with Eclipse, it's super fun that a lot of I know guys from like death metal and black metal bands who actually they love Eclipse. Like the singer in Unleashed, he and his son, they love, the whole family that loves Eclipse. I know the Swedish like black metal band Marduk, the whole band comes to see us and we play in their area where they live. So it's just super exciting. And one thing that also is cool is that a lot of women are coming to the shows, which are also very good. As like you don't go to a lot of metal concerts and see women. So that's actually pretty cool as well. So I don't know. I think it's maybe because we as musicians and as music lovers, we all love, you know, I love thrash metal and death metal. I listened to that all the time when I was a kid, and I also loved emo rock as well. So we spice everything up with a little of this and a little of that, and I think maybe people hear that.
Okay, it's nice to hear. Well, it is interesting that Eclipse is mentioned with other great hard rock bands like Hit, Work of Art, the Night Flight Orchestra, etc., and more and many more. So you all sound different between each other. So I think you succeed by using your inspiration correctly without trying to recreate exactly the sound of the bands that inspire you. So in this vein, how do you manage to achieve this with your sound and not become a copy paste of the 80s sound?
Yeah, as I said, we are inspired from a big many different genres. As I said, everything from, you know, we can have a lot of some songs we have inspiration from black metal songs, which you can't hear that it's black metal, but we can take some like snippets from this, from that. We add folk music, we add a lot of that. You know, we know, like within the band as a musician, we know every genre of hard rock inside out. You know, if we could easily make us like a record sound like Whitesnake without a problem. But there's no point because Big Whitesnake is best at being Whitesnake. So it's like there's no meaning of making a copy of anything. So we always try to find our own way of doing things, but you know, and take the best from the past and try to make something that's unique and that sounds like Eclipse. I think that's, and we work really hard on that to find our own sound. And I think we always change for every record. We sound a little different every time. It's not a super big change for a record, but we make small changes all the time. I think that's very, very important for us as a band, as writers, to keep it interesting for ourselves and the fans as well.
Okay, nice to hear. If I'm not wrong, next year Eclipse is celebrating 25 years of existence. Not many bands can achieve this with a great discography. So at this point in your career, how you define the success? Is to life making what you love, perhaps, or to sell a lot of records, perhaps, or perhaps to inspire other bands. How do you define this concept calling success?
I think that well, that's really hard because most people only especially nowadays, everyone is defining success by money. And I think, no, if you're a carpenter, or if you're a doctor, or a nurse, or whatever, they're like, if you know, no one else says that if they're not rich, if you're not rich, then you're a bad nurse. It's not like that. It's like, but with musicians, it's always, everyone is rating success as the same thing as money. I don't do that at all. I'm not especially interested in money at all. It's good to have money, but I like, I'm not, it's not a driving force for me musically. I always, you know, for the first off, I would have done a different genre than melodic hard rock if I wanted to make money. But I think the success is that we are still doing it. We're still doing what we love, and we have the privilege to have fans who listen to our music. For the most part of my career, no one gave a shit about the band. No one cared about coming to the shows. Nowadays, we have the privilege to have fans that actually listen to our new music. They come to shows, they buy tickets, which is fantastic, and we are so honored that we have that. And also that we didn't have all this success when we were young. We are like, after 25 years, we are still growing as a band. For every year, we're getting bigger and bigger, which is unbelievable.
Okay, so for the next year, are there plans to celebrate your 25 years as a band, or perhaps as the 30? Who knows?
The first time, I never think about the past, to be honest. I always look forward, and I didn't realize it was 25 years until I did an interview last night, and someone said, it's 25 years next year. And I was like, wow, was almost amazed. But, well, it's 25 years as a band, but I don't know. We haven't thought about it, to be honest.
Okay, before we finish, technology is advancing faster than what we thought. And in the history of the music, it has been always relevant, this kind of aspect. But nowadays, even more, because we have streaming services with algorithms that can help bands to reach more people or force them to listen to certain bands. In addition, artificial intelligence can be used now to compose and record music, and even design the artwork, for example. So, what do you think? What do you think its impact will be in the near future from your perspective? Do you see yourself using artificial intelligence, for example, for one song, perhaps for a personal band? Who knows?
Well, not really. I think it's. I'm not that interested in like. Well, I like artificial intelligence, and it's something, or like, I actually dislike it. I'm very interested in all these matters. I actually think that internet is probably one of the worst inventions ever, because it doesn't bring people together. It just creates that people hate each other more. The more people learn to know each other, the more people hate each other. And I think I'm not super excited about the future with AI and the whole thing. So having said that, I'm not that interested in using it. I like to play rock and roll music and plug in a guitar into an amplifier and that's the reason I started with all this. And so, I guess we're not using it, but we probably should, I guess.
Okay, one of the last questions of this, talking about this technology. Well, as I mentioned, the algorithm is now like the new way to hear music, because you have 45 years old. I'm 43 years old. So in the 80s, when you listen to music, you listen just magazines. You see a cover art in the magazines, and you see, I like this cover art, and I want to buy this record and tape and CD. At that time, even I don't, at that time the vinyl disappears completely. So now the new forms to hear music is just by hearing through the algorithms, and waiting what the algorithm recommends to hear the music, even it's bad, good, more or less, etc. So, but now I think this common aspect is more related with when the label or the investments or the music industry paid more for artists that nobody wants to, but even this is still in the algorithms. So with this kind of aspect, I read an article that the article said that algorithm is over the free will now, because the free will is losing the battle against this algorithm, because the new generation is not anymore like, I like the cover art, I like the sound of the first song to end to the song, because now the digital returning to the aspect to the 40s and 50s, even the singles now is working, playlists working more. So what is your opinion about this aspect? The algorithm is more taking the cauldron about the free will. Even the article said that the free will is losing the battle against the algorithm.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I totally agree that it's more and more that people listen to what's given to them, and the algorithms, as you say, and playlists are like the new radio, but not really. It's like what I dislike most is that there are a few like tech companies that own the whole streaming world, more or less. Like in Sweden, like 95% of all stream music is by Spotify, which means there is one player who controls everyone's listening habits in the whole country, which is, or if you're not on their on their shit list, or if you're not picked up by the AI algorithm, you're nothing. You don't exist. There's no option. If you're not picked up by them, then you're gone. Which is, I think that's terrible. There's less and less ways for an artist to take their own path. It's like everything is big tech, and I think that's terrible. But still, Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you're using, it's a great tool for discovering new bands. If you are active and if you're trying, you can find everything. That as a kid, that would be the dream.
Yeah.
But it also, as you said, with the playlists and the recommendations, it's just people listen to music, but they don't listen to artists. They just hear songs, and it's a passive way. It's not an active choice anymore.
Yes.
And I guess it's only the active people who will actually come to shows and buy tickets and stuff. So you can see artists online who have like 1 million listeners a month or 5 million listeners a month. But if you go to a show, it's like 200 people.
Yes,
there's like sometimes, and in rock bands, if you go to an Eclipse show and we have like 400,000 listeners a month, and we go there's over 1,000. There's 1,000 people at the show. So it's like there is like the numbers are both some numbers are very impressive, and you can always look at the numbers as well, because it's, I don't know what I'm going with this, but there are still real fans who actually love this music and are active. So it's not, everyone is not, their free will is not completely gone for everyone. Not yet.
Not yet. Yes. Well, Erik, the sad times arrive at this interview. Thanks for your time. This new record is amazing. We really appreciate this interview with you. Congratulations on the news one. Perhaps do you want to, or
Thank
perhaps
you.
Anything you want to add to say to your Latin American fans and Metallica followers? Because as you told me, next year you will come to the Summer Breeze and other countries too.
Well, thank you for listening, and thank you for making as we spoke about AI and playlists before, thank you for taking your time to make a conscious choice and listen to our music. And for the first time, we are coming to South America, which is going to be fantastic. Can't wait.